welcome to my channel once again. In this video I'm going to show you how to make the Zulu inspired crochet necklace or headpiece. Okay, so let's begin. So to begin, I'm going to show you what you need. So you're going to need some scrap yarn or some yarn. I'm going to make a blue one, so I'm using how many colors? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. So need a scissors. You're also going to need a scissors, some jewellery strands. Also going to need a measuring tape. I can't find mine, so I'm going to use this board that I use sometimes. But if you have a measuring tape, that'll be great. You just need to measure. You're going to need your rope. In this tutorial I'm using this, and I've measured 50 centimeters. Now you could use a thicker rope, whatever rope you have. So now I'm going to show you how I'm going to work in this pattern. So what I'm doing, so my rope is 50 centimeters, right? So I'm going to have one color on one part, and I'm going to have a part where I have the color changes and the part with the single color. So I'm dividing my rope into 3, right? So okay, so now I'm going to show you how to start the pattern. Another thing that I forgot that you need some jewellery ends, and this is size 8 millimeters, but you can use 10, 12 depending on the size of your rope. The necklace that I want to do, I'm going to be using blue as the main color, but I'm worried that you guys will not see, so I'll just use orange to explain what I'll be doing. Okay, so I will first take my yarn, put it on top of the other like this to form that shape, and I'm going to take my fingers, put it inside the circle, and grab the yarn that is the bottom here, and I'm going to insert it inside the circle like that. Oh sorry, like that. So now I'm going to pull this one and this one together, as well as pulling the yarn that I put in the circle. So it's going to form this knot, and this knot is adjustable. I'm going to insert my hook. Right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to let my yarn hang on this finger and hold it in place with my small finger. I'm going to take this finger and this finger and hold the part that I'm crocheting, and I'll be holding my hook like a knife. If this part is difficult for you, you can try wrapping your yarn on your finger 2 or 3 times, and you leave some working yarn. So just practice until you get a way that's easier for you. Now going back into my pattern, I'm going to chain. So to chain, it's a series of repeat movements. So so number 1, we're going to move forwards. Then number 2, we're going to go up a little bit. Number 3, we're going to turn our hook to face down. And as I'm turning my hook, it's also turning how you're like holding your yarn, but you're just moving how you're holding. It's in symmetry with the movements that you're doing. Okay, so you move your hook, you turn your yarn to face down, and you're going to move backwards, and you're going to pass through that loop. I'll repeat again. Go forwards, go up a little bit, turn your hook to face down, and go backwards, passing through that loop. Because that's the second chain. That's what we call chaining. So in this pattern you need 7 chains. 1 3 4 5 6 7. Right. So the next thing that I'm going to do, let me just take my hook off. So these here, I'm calling that a stitch or a chain. So I'm not going to start in this one. I'm going to start in the second one. Put my hook back. So I'm going to go into the second stitch, insert my hook in there. I'm going to grab some yarn and pass it through that loop. So now you're going to notice that you have 2 loops on your hook. So now what you're going to do, you're going to grab some yarn and you're going to pass that yarn through both loops, and that is what we call a single crochet. I'm going to go into the next stitch and repeat. Grab some yarn and pass it through, and now you have 2 loops. I'm going to grab some yarn again and pass through both loops. Okay, so I'm going to do this in all of my stitches, and that is what we'll be doing for the whole pattern. Right, so I've reached the end of my line. So at the end of my line, I'm going to grab some yarn and pass it through. So this is just chaining 1. Then I'm going to flip my thing. I'm going to turn it. Now I'm going to work on from the opposite side. So now let me just take off my hook. So if we look here on top, we've got this chain, these V's, my stitches. So now what I'm going to do, you're going to go under those 2 loops. So that I'll call that part a stitch. So you're going to grab some yarn, you have 2 loops again, and you're going to be doing the same thing. Put it under those 2, grab some yarn, and yeah, you keep doing that until you get to the end. To the end. And remember, at the end of every line you chain 1 and you turn your thing and you start again. Okay, so I'm going to stop now and explain something. Okay, so now that you know how to do single crochets, and that's what we'll be doing, we're going to do 36 plus the beginning row. So we're going to do 37, and that will cover 37, that will cover this part. Okay, so beginning rounds. So you're going to do 37 rows. So now I'm going to switch to the color that I'm supposed to be using. Okay, blue. I just used the blue just to show you how to do it. Okay, so I've already done the 37 rows. So now I'm getting to the part where I will start to put the colors. So I'm going to start with white. So before I finish this last stitch, just hold on, like this. So when you have the 2 before you finish it, that's when you add your yarn. So I'm going to do my chain with the white yarn, like this. Then you just tighten this and tighten that. Right, then you flip your work. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going into the first stitch. Why is my laptop on? I'm going to go into the first stitch like that. I'm going to go into the first stitch and I'm going to grab some yarn and pass it through, but I'm going to carry these 2 yarns so that I can cover it. So I'm going to do a single crochet like that. I'm going to go into the next stitch, making sure that I have these 2 yarns behind my thing. Grab some yarn and pass it through. You have 2 loops, and I'm going to do a single crochet. Go into the next stitch, carrying that yarn, and I'll do another single crochet. So that is what you do when you add new yarn. Okay, so we've reached the end of the line like this. So you see, that's how I'm going to chain 1, and now you are working with the white alone. Later on we can cut this. we're going to do single crochets. So this is row 2 with the white yarn. Okay, then you're going to chain 1 and you're going to do one last line. So with the color changes, you're going to do three rows, then you move to a next color, and before you move to the next color, you can divide with the black, just one row of black. So I'll quickly finish this one. Okay, so before I finish this, I'm going to add my what? My black. Where's my black? Here's my black. Sorry for overcrowding my area. So here's my black, and I'm going to grab the black, pass it through the two loops. I'm going to tighten by pulling the white and also pulling the black, like this. Right, so I'm going to do one line with the black. Likewise, I'm going to take my hook, go into the first stitch like that, and the whole time I'm going to make sure that these yarns are at the back. Right, remember to carry make sure that they're at the back of your thing so that you can cover them. Okay, like that. Okay. Right, so let me check. Okay, so I haven't finished that. I'm going to add a new color. So for this pattern, I'm going to add an orange. So I'm going to do 3 rows of the orange, then I'll separate. I'll do 1 row of the black, then do 3 rows with green, then I'll do 1 row with black to separate the color. I'll do 3 rows with black, and I'll do 1 row with black, then I'll do 3 rows of the blue, then I'll do 1 row of the black. Then I'll start from here. Now after the black, I'm going to do 3 rows of the blue, extra long. So I'm going to quickly do the first colors before I repeat them again. I'm going to do them off camera and quickly come back. Okay, love, so here's how it's looking now. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to separate again with 1 line of black. Then now I'm going to start with the last color. Now would be my first color. So I'm going to do 3 rows of blue, separate with the black, then red, 3 rows of red, separate with the black, 3 rows of green, separate with the black, 3 rows of orange, separate with the black, and the last 3 rows of white. So that's what I'm going to do. I just wanted to mention that when you add your yarn, every time that you're adding a new color, try to keep the stitch quite loose. So putting my black right there, then I turn right. So remember, I'm going to carry this yarn with, right? So I'm going to take my hook and put it below those 2 yarns, these ones. Then I'll go into my first stitch. Then I'm going to grab my black like this. So this first stitch, try to keep it quite loose because you're going to use it in the next line. So if it's too tight, then it will be difficult for you to work in it. Okay, so let me quickly do the rest of the colors, then I come back. Okay, so I have done the rest of the colors. Right, so I'm back to my main color, blue. So I'm going to grab some yarn like that. Then I'm going to turn my thing. I'm going to take the two line, the shorter one and the longer, the one from the previous line. There we go. Just tighten it in a little bit. So I've put like my hook under. So I'm going to go into the first stitch. I grab some yarn, making sure that there's two yarns like that. Then I continue with the single crochets. Oh, okay, so that's my first row. I'm going to do 36 more rows, then I come back, then our thing will be done actually. So let me quickly do that off camera, and I'm just doing single crochets, nothing else. So let me quickly do that and come back. Okay, so I've done the 36 stitches, so now I'm going to chain one, then I cut off my yarn, then I pull. Okay, so now my thing is done. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut all these excess yarns that are hanging, so just be careful like this. So I'm going to cut all of them on the sides, you don't need them. Okay, so I'll cut all of them and come back. Okay, so I've cut all the yarn at the end. So now what I'm going to do, we're going to start sewing. So I'll quickly show you. So we're going to wrap our thing on our like this, then we'll sew. Right, so let me just get my needle, then I'll quickly show how you sew this thing up. Okay, so I've got my needles and I've put the thread through. I'm not gonna sew the whole thing on camera, but I'll just quickly show you how to do it. So I'm going to take my thing, then I'm going to take the first stitch, just insert my like that. Okay, I need one. Okay, like that. Okay, let me remove the other stuff because it's all cluttered. Okay, and I'm gonna go back into this same spaces. Like that. Then I'll put this one inside, and I'm going to go down now, sort of like slanting. So with the sewing part, I'll just advise for you to be just take the next 2 stitches. Just like that. If you can make your stitches small, it will be even better. It will be even better. Try not to make your yarn too long, like I did here, because it will be tangling. Yes, so you're going to continue to go down, sewing it up. Like, you could do, if you don't want to sew it up like this, you could do single crochets to join it, but I don't like how it looks. I just prefer sewing, and it's easy to sew. Okay, so where you have white, you're going to sew with white. Where you have black, you're going to use black. Where you have orange, you're going to use orange, just like that. Yeah, so that's what you're going to do for the, just to wrap it on your, just to wrap your crocheted thing, just like that. Okay, so you're going to continue to do that, and like I said, when you get to white, to the part where you have white, you're going to use white yarn to join. So you would go into your last stitches like that. Go back in again. So that's how you literally sew this up. Like that. I'm going to show you the ones that I've already sewn. Like for this, for instance, this one is not, you can see where I joined, like here. That's the side where I'll put it, so the person will wear it like this. So you can see where you join. Right, so the different colors that I've done. So that's what you do to do this necklaces, and you can do different colors. The part where you join. Yeah, so just that I've done so many colors. Like I said, this video is, yeah, so that's how you do the necklaces. And when you get to the end, hold on. Okay, so when you get to the end, you're going to use these jewellery ends. So after sewing it all up, you're going to take these jewellery ends, and you're going to use B7000 or B6000. This is really good, what you call it, glue. It's really it really holds up your thing, so you won't be worried about your thing coming out. So you put it in, then you let it to sort of like bond very well for 48 hours. Then after that, you put your what you call it, your strings, what you call it, and your necklace is done. Yeah, so I look forward to seeing you in my next videos. You know, this is another type of crochet, what you call it, necklaces that I designed. So I first did the same. I'll do a tutorial on this, on how to put the beads, the same kind of thing. I'm still waiting for the glue to, what you call it, to completely bind, right? And this is another one. I'll also do a tutorial on this. Again, I'm waiting for the, what you call it, it's a similar one also. I'm waiting for the glue to completely bind. Anyway, look forward to these tutorials too. Thank you so much for joining me, and please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. Okay, bye bye.